will be coming on. You can approach me and we'll talk about it, but it's in relation to SDGs. It helps. We are looking for those funders, and so send your application letters in with your CV, and we will review and see if you're worth sponsoring and funding us.
Okay, and you have to be a bit slow on that innovation. But welcome back from your lunch. I hope it was, Andrew is saying it was good. I don't know about the rest of you.
Let's try and see if people can remember. Wamma Kampala. Wamma Kampala. Wamma Kampala. Wamma Kampala. Is it true that we can remind the people who weren't in the building about what went on when they were eating lunch? Wamma Kampala?
Yeah.
Wamma Kampala? Wamma Kampala, is it true that right now at the MCI hub, we are ready to take on the first English news team and we are all excited? Wamma Kampala? Wamma Kampala?
The team doesn't seem cheered up. I don't know why. Are you guys thirsty? There's water. Don't worry about that. Kanan.
Yeah.
English team are number one. I hope you're ready. Team one.
Can I hear English team number one in the building?
By the way, you're talking about Wamma Kampala. Ishak is the one that was saying the Wamma Kampala thing. But do you know something?
What is that?
You don't know. Mr. Andrew Chamagero is Ishak's mentor.
Oh!
But also us, we are his stepchildren, so he adopted us.
Hey.
Me, Josie, Mutumba, he adopted us.
Does he have in-laws?
For you, don't go there.
All right, so team number one, come on, are we ready? Shout your name out loud. Let people hear. What's the name of your media house? Let me hear the name of your media house.
Team one.
Team one, oye. Team one, oye. Team one, oye. Team four, oye. Nah. Woo!
Very good afternoon. Welcome you live to our news hour. My name is Shedrick Everly, and we are live at the MCI TV with my co-host.
I'm Leah Kabi, and later on the show, we will be reviewing the opinion poll on our Twitter handle at Trifan80121640. The question is, do you think by 2030, SDGs will have been achieved? And our reporter will be joining us live from the MCI hub.
Yes, let's take a look at the headlines. The impact of climate change on food production, the state of mental health care in Uganda, and the news in details. Statistics from Ministry of Health indicate that mental health affects more than 25% of people in Uganda. Policymakers have recommended integration of mental health care into the primary health care as one of the best ways to improve mental health well-being in Uganda. Our reporter, Miriam Iwamujisha, has more on this.
Media Challenge Expo focusing on sustainable development goals, experts have advised on the need to foster mental health well-being as one of the ways of promoting good health among the public. 3/4 of the people with mental health challenges receive no treatment according to the World Health Organization Mental Health Action Plan 2013-2020. However, there are measures that have been put in place to address the problem. While speaking at the 2021 Media Challenge Expo at MCI Hub, Kabalagala, Ivan Nanyonga, a software developer at Rocket Health, affirms that the company has embarked on educating the populace on benefits of good health.
We've had these campaigns that were going on. We had the Men Health Month, and then we have also one for the women. We have packages that will help you get mental health treatment whenever you need it.
Linda Asaba, a senior programs manager, United Nations Association of Uganda, guided journalists on how to avoid the impact of negative reports on people's mental health.
Is by being solution journalists, and then 2 is by ensuring they tell the good side of whatever they are reporting about.
Ministry of Health. He says that the ministry is advocating for changes in the system to effectively enhance on the access of mental health care.
Advocating for is integrating mental health care into the primary health care system, so that once a patient comes in and they are mentally ill, the nurse or the clinical officer there can identify this and provide basic care, and they do not have to necessarily refer the patient very fast for specialized care. That is
Affecting more than 25% of the people at some time during their lives, the World Health Organization emphasizes that mental health is a prerequisite for physical health and is strongly linked to other SDGs, thus relevant across the whole range of development. Marian Womsha, The News Hour.
Climate change poses a slew of challenges on food production. Various adaptations and mitigation measures have been cited to reduce the adverse impacts. Our reporter Jotham Ali Naitwe tells us more.
Environmentalists have warned against the continued abuse of the environment. This has posed a threat to the food production in the country due to climate change. It has come after Uganda was ranked among the 12 most vulnerable countries to the impact of climate change, according to COP26. Mercy Melody Kayodi, the Vice President for Youth Coalition SDGs Uganda, explains how climate change has impacted food production in Uganda.
To the average Ugandan, you would describe climate change as too much drought or too much water. So that is the average way a basic Ugandan would understand the question of climate change. Clearly, food production highly depends on the climate. Uganda is predominantly agricultural. Agriculture is not going to be carried out in space. It has to be carried out on land. And for the land to be good enough to support agriculture, the question of the planet has got an impact on food production.
The Executive Director of Open Space Center Forum Uganda, Ashraf Kakaire, allows the fact that agriculture season keeps changing due to rotating climate pattern.
We all know that we used to have 2 seasons in a year for farming, which is no longer happening. So
Assumptions and work hand in hand with the youth in order to improve food production.
The change in weather patterns have affected how much food we get from our gardens, which means that our productivity as a country has gone down, and famine and hunger has gone up. At least in a given year, about 40,000 people are going hungry. The government has done some role, but has not done a good role. So the government has, on paper, done a good job. In practice, there's nothing I can tell you on ground. As a farmer, I'm engaged in agriculture myself.
Jotham Ali Naitwe reports for the News Hour.
Thank you so much, Jotham. In today's special report, Agape Child Development Center is a church-run child-focused organization committed to freeing children from poverty. Our reporter, David Ijo, you could give us a report.
Child Development Center, an organization located in Tinda, is one among the many that have prioritized in eradicating child poverty in Uganda. Through voluntary services they provide for children in need. Nantumbwe Winnie, the Finance and Accounts Officer at Agape Child Development Center, tells News Hour that their organization plays a role in holistic development for both children and the youth.
The Child Development Center is doing a holistic development for both children and youth. Spiritually, the children are being impacted through the church, where they have a children's program. Children are participating in their own activities, those who can sing, those who can dance in the church, those who can participate in devotions. And we have a sports play area where children can be impacted physically, and we do health screenings for these children so that they can stay healthy. We take children to school to be educated so that their cognitive aspect is up.
Nantumbwe clarified that the organization has produced many students, some of whom graduated and are living independent. She said that the alumni are intact with the organization and extend support in efforts to eradicate child poverty.
The Child Development Center is doing a holistic development for both children and youth. Spiritually, the children are being impacted through the church, where they have a children's program. Children are participating in their own activities, those who can sing, those who can dance in the church, those who can participate in devotions. And we have a sports play area where children can be impacted physically, and we do health screenings for these children so that they can stay healthy. We take children to school to be educated so that their cognitive aspect is uplifted. Last year, Agape Child Development Center, together with the church, we started a WhatsApp group where we have over 300 children and youth who have graduated off the program. And the reason as to why we started this WhatsApp group is to see how are people progressing with life out there, how can they network with their fellows who are above them, and to network in kind of business and jobs.
Joseph Elunya, the director, Center for Investigative Journalism, urged the press to adopt a storytelling model of solutions journalism through tracking the progress of efforts to combat poverty, both by government and NGOs.
Really, our stories that we tell should be stories that after people watching them, they should be able to call to action. There are very many good examples that I've ever seen. One such example was a project between the Guardian newspaper of London, and then there used to be a project called Panels here in Uganda, and the media. The funders, they funded a model village in a place called Katine in Soroti. And in that, the media kept on tracking the progress. So we need to track.
As Uganda and the entire globe strives to fight and end child poverty, Agape Child Development Center has done its part in fighting child poverty through supporting children emotionally, physically, materially, and spiritually. Reporting for News Hour, I am David Ijo. Child Development.
Well, at the start of the conversation, we asked you to check out our Twitter handle and tell us if you think the SDGs will have been achieved by 2030. Bill Dunn, I feel it's a good project. Pardon me. Bill Dunn says, I feel it's a good project, but the timelines are so close. Zawi Grace says, I think by 2030, some aims and objectives will be achieved. Just needs good leadership, teamwork, consistency, and community support. Well, these are interesting. This is a lot of interesting feedback, but we shall continue this conversation on our Twitter platform. Our live reporter is joining us live from the MCI hub.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Shedrick. Shedrick, indeed, journalism can make the world a better place, because here at Tirupati Mazima Mall, at the MCI hub, which is the 4th floor, an expo has been taking place right from Monday up to today, the D-Day. Now, the expo is taking place on the theme of promotion of effective media coverage on SDGs in Uganda. And right from Monday up to Wednesday, a couple of panel discussions have been taking place on some of these SDGs that include poverty, we have gender equality, and then zero hunger. And today, Friday being the D-Day, I can confirm to you that there is a newsroom competition taking place among the MCI participants. And of course, you know, The situation is quite tense. It's tense like a sound of a gunshot, as I must confirm to you, because things to do with competitions are usually not easy. But before I get back to you in studio, Shedrick and Leah, just allow me to speak to one of the MCI participants that have been participating in this expo. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm very okay. How are you?
How are you?
I'm very okay.
Yeah, your name and the university you're representing.
Well, my name is Solomon Chisache, and I'm representing the Academy of MCI.
Solomon, what SDG has stood out for you in this expo?
The SDG that stood out for me, one was the gender equality SDG, which happens to be goal number 6. And the argument was that our panelist, according to me, who seemed to be biased, was raising an argument that women need to have, are not having a proper platform as the men.
Thank you very much, Solomon, for speaking to us. Now, Leah and Shedrick, of course, quite a lot is taking place, and I'll be certain to get back to you in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, let me cross back to you in studio.
Well, David, before I let you go,
yeah?
I have a very simple question for you.
Yes, please.
Of all the SDGs, which one stood out for you the most and why?
Well, that's quite a tricky question, but I think the SDG that stood out for me is zero hunger. You know, when it comes to issues to do with food, I'm quite cognizant to that. So, yeah, zero hunger is what stood out for me. Maybe you and Leah in the studio, I could pose the same question. What stood out for you?
Well, we shall continue this conversation after the bulletin.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Leah Kabi.
And Shedrick Ayebade, thank you and have a lovely day.
Wow, round of applause for Team 1.
Kanan,
The hug exactly, yeah?
Kanan, I had someone asking, was it the anchor asking the reporter what SDG?
Of course, no hunger. And I'm not afraid to say this because I've grown up in Chireka Banda. So SDG 1 and 2 stand out for me. The no poverty and no hunger, because these are things that I've witnessed with my own eyes. And so I have a passion to see that they are ended by 2030. But it's not our moment. It is the moment for Team 1. You're gonna don't fall down. You've done so amazingly. You can't fall at the end. How did it feel for you being here, like starting off, kicking off the entire English bulletin season?
It was a good experience. We are here for no matter what number you are, you have to be prepared. We have been preparing for a week, so the number doesn't really matter. That's all I can say.
Wow, absolutely. I love the confidence. So I'm just going to invite all the other members of Team 1 to rush here as fast as possible. Ah, the team is big. Wow.
This team is... Kanan, you're also in the team.
Yeah, of course. I'll be in every team, you'll see. So I'm just going to go real quick and find out how everyone is doing. What was it like watching your anchors up here doing their thing?
Honestly, I felt very proud. They put in so much effort, so much hard work. I was really happy.
You felt so proud of them. Okay, Mr. Producer, I see you have a pen and paper. As the judges are judging, you'll also be judging. You also sit. All right, how did it feel for you watching your team with all the preparation you've put in and how they've executed it?
I feel proud. They never disappointed me. What we agreed on, everything had to go smoothly. Thank you so much. We worked as a team, and I know we'll make it.
Wow.
Kanan.
Team, yes.
Just a simple message to our dear audience. Please wear your mask. Yambala mask yo. Tell your neighbor to tell their neighbor to tell their neighbors to wear the masks. Thank you.
how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling beautiful.
You're feeling beautiful? Wow, okay. I think you are beautiful. But also in terms of the news, what was it like for you participating in this group?
It has been a great opportunity to have such a good team. We've had good teamwork while doing our stories, while doing editing and everything. It was quite a team that has good teamwork. We are working together smoothly.
Okay, speaking of teamwork, let's find out from our live reporter, what was it like for you working with individuals that are from different universities? You've not like fought together in a WhatsApp group before, a class group or anything. What was it like working with a team here?
I just met these guys on Monday, but the way I relate with them is like we met 5 years ago, 2 years ago. There was a chemistry that combined us together and we were able to work as a team indeed. They are perfect.
Wow, okay. And finally, how do you think your team did in terms of the bulletin, especially coming fast?
It did a good job. Yeah, it was quite hard, but we are happy that we have kicked it off and we are good that we have finished everything and everything went good. Yeah, we are happy.
All right, thank you very much. That is from Team 1. And now we'll cross over to the judges. For the interest of time, we'll be having one judge per team. And so let's have you, Andrew, to give a word to our team here.
Okay, let's clap for Team 1. I want to thank you for the effort. But I should tell you that I'm disappointed. When you're number one, you have to act as number one. Your mantra is different when you're number one. What you see is not what others. Who was the team leader? You are the team leader? Who was the team leader? Raise your hand. You are the team leader. Your leadership skills we are wanting. One of your anchor is seated, one is standing. What is that? Have you seen it anywhere on TV? One anchor standing, one seated? And how do they coordinate with the body language, the eye? So one is looking down on the other one and the other one is looking up? Does that make sense to you? Don't laugh. These are careers at stake. We didn't waste time to come and sit here and people have not spent money that you come and you do crappy work here. A team leader must give the vision. Did you brief everyone before they came up here? Did you brief them? What did you tell them? Take off your mask. I need to hear what you're saying. What did you tell them? Guys, keep quiet. Let's get this feedback. What did you tell them? No, the entire team. The entire team. I need to know what you told them.
Yeah, when we finished the production, before we came here, I told them, one, we have to work as a team. And number two.
But did you see the teamwork there? Did you see teamwork in what was playing there? Did you guys see the teamwork amongst yourselves? Be honest. We are having a honest conversation here. Did you see teamwork? And you decide to come to present when you don't have teamwork. It's okay for such competitions to ask for more time. As a leader, you take the lead. You come, you talk to the team, the production, you tell them, I need more time with my team. We are finalizing, others can go on. You don't come on stage because you have to come on stage. You don't read news because you have to read news. There are days I say I don't want to read, and they'll get another person. The ones who are doing the production, the ones who went to the field, the one who compiled this, the anchors are breaking them. It's their job to give us that. And it's on your head as a team leader. You didn't do that. You didn't give leadership. You were too nice. You thought they knew. In news, direction is instant. You must give direction. This is what we're going to do. I need you. Anchors don't know what they do on set. When I'm on air, she tells me, she's in my ears, Andrew, sit like this, speak like this, straight up. Their talents, your job is to manage that talent on air. We don't take that light. So you must respect the efforts of the others they have put in before you get on air. Madam, if the male anchor is standing, you stand. You stand, you stay up. If you all wanted to sit, you could have gotten chairs. And you say, we're going to sit, all of us. That would be okay, right? One is standing, one is down. So how do we get the body language issue? I was there trying to say, okay, how do I now rate the body language? Because one is up and the other one is down. When you look down on the woman, it goes against the same equal things you're trying to fight in the SDGs of gender equality. Still a man, it's a man who is up, the girl is down. Everything you do on set means a lot to the viewer. So you guys are not going to go home today until we are done. When everything here is done, you have 1 full hour with me again. We are going to do the bulletin again until when you guys are
here is you get to have an extra hour with our judge alone. I mean, his time is really expensive. So the fact that he's given our team there an entire hour is such a wonderful thing. And based on that, I think that Team 2 must be so excited to come forward, right? Team 2, oh yeah. Team 2, oh yeah. Team 2, are they hiding? Team 2. Team 2. Team 2, are you ready? All right, just for clarity's sake, there are 2 chairs here. We just wanted to make that clear. Like, don't say that these guys only gave us 1 chair. There are 2 chairs there. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, onto the stage, let us welcome Team 2 English News Bulletin.
It is the 5th season of the Inter-University Media Challenge competitions at the Media Hub, located at Chupati Mazima Mall, Kampala. This year's theme aims at promoting effective coverage on the Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs are a plan through which peace, development, and stability are to be achieved by the year 2030, 9 years from now. It is exactly 2:34. Good afternoon and welcome to Eco News. My name is Memiliti Shaluwaze, but first, the headlines. Sack farming to fight climate change. Good food for good health and well-being. And lastly, we shall host multimedia journalist Dan Ayewale to talk about how media will achieve the SDG Zero Hunger. News and details. Climate change. Human activity is quite aggressive when it comes to farming. Bush burning is being carried out to attain land for farming. Our reporter, Catherine Ainembawazi, has introduced to us sack farming. Let us get the story.
Huge pieces of land to start farming. But today, a number of Ugandans have put that aside. As we are going to fight climate change, most Ugandans are today using sacks, containers, plastic, among others. I moved to Ndeje Buguma to a small home sited along a dust road, where I found Aisha Namwande, a lady who is taking part in sack farming.
Nali mbyegomba nembitandika mpola mpola nasooka butungulu okukuuma obutonde bw'ensi okumenya emiti nasalawo nenkuŋŋaanya ebicupa bino nesalawo nembiteekamu.
According to Aisha, by sack farming, she improved the climate in the area since she uses plastic, and all this could have damaged water, and soil. Aisha says that she learned sack farming through Bukede Omulimi Asinga. According to Alex Talemwa, the co-founder Rep Africa says due to climate changes, Uganda should look to sack farming as the way to go. For Econews, Catherine Anibalazi.
Thank you so much, Catherine. To our next news story, it's looking about good health. Ugandans have a tendency of feeding on fast foods, little knowing that this has a very negative impact on their health. Our reporter, Jolly Nawulo, went in the field to tell us more about what Ugandans should eat to have a good health.
Good health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, but not only the absence of a disease. According to a YouTube video by Dr. Kasenene, he gives advice to people on how to keep a good health through eating vegetables and fruits, and many people give their experience based on the advice and his teachings.
Brighter, sweeter, you don't even have to chew it. So now our children have lost the God-given right to be healthy because we no longer take fruits and vegetables. But very quickly, we taught Michael that half of your food must come from fruits and vegetables. Now we'll see in the next slide what we are taught in school.
Majority of the people today don't know what having a good health is. This is because the highest population of the people eat wheat, owls, and snacks. Inside Rwanda Central Market, where I happen to visit, I met Regina Natalia, a fruit seller, who narrates her experience in the business and benefits included in fruits, especially in this COVID era, since they bear natural vitamins that boost our immunity.
Thank you so much. Joining us from True Party, Mazima Mall.
Students are showcasing their talents in news anchoring, reporting. My left side, people are not observing SOPs. Sorry for that. And for my left side, people are observing SOPs. Thank you very much. Letitia will give you more updates, but let me first talk to Chivili, and he tells me what he has experienced, what he has got from the expo that is taking place here.
Yes, my experience is good, and I have learned a lot from this expo. My outstanding SDG was gender equality, that is SDG number 5, and I'm going to use whatever I have to make sure that I promote gender equality.
Thank you very much, Chivili. That is one of the students that is participating in the expo.
Thank you so much, Christabel. Thank you so much for that live coverage. In studio, I'm joined by Dan Ayevale, a multimedia journalist. Dan, how are you? Okay. That's great. Can you tell us a bit about you?
Dan Ayebal is a multimedia journalist with MCI Radio, a youth radio that focuses on solutions journalism and also telling stories that are underreported.
Okay. As a journalist, this theme for the media challenge this year is looking at how media is going to help the SDGs be attained by 2030. What do you think media should do to see that these SDGs are attained by 2030?
To give you a background is that hunger in particular over 600 million people are suffering from hunger. And to give it perspective, that is almost half of Africa's population. And I think media should put in more effort in covering this SDG of no hunger. And then the best angle is to report in a solutions angle. That's what works, because if you tell stories in a solutions angle, it gives a person who is going through all that hunger, who is hungry, to be able to get hope that maybe in future there could be a better world, and then attain the SDG of hunger, attain that no hunger by 2030.
Thank you so much, Dan. It was a pleasure having you on the panel. Thank you.
Pleasure too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Team 2. One more round of applause. Team 2 members, can you come forward? Can you come forward real quick, real quick? You know the drill. If you're a member of Team 2, please come forward. Wow, you walked alone. Oh, okay. You can come to the front.
Okay.
There isn't enough, I promise there isn't enough space behind you. Wow. Team of ladies, huh? Ladies, how are you feeling?
We're good.
You're good?
Yeah.
How did it feel being behind that desk?
Well, it was a bit challenging, but the fact that I had ladies behind me, I was confident.
All right, all right. How do you feel right now?
I'm feeling fine.
You're feeling fine?
Yes.
How did you feel standing in the audience right there doing your perform?
It's a blessing. I'm feeling so happy.
You're feeling so happy?
Yeah.
Okay. Marcella seems to have a question to ask. What was your role in the team? What did you do as you guys were preparing for the news?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like were you a reporter? Were you a producer? What did you do on the team?
I was the director, producer.
You're the director, producer.
The editor.
Yeah. And what was it like for you preparing for this bulletin?
It was so challenging.
Challenging?
Very challenging. Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out more, okay?
Kainan, as you're still asking these team questions, we'd like to ask Team 3 to prepare outside. We're running out of time, so we're asking Team 3 to get ready.
All right,
Thank you.
If you're a part of Team 3, please be preparing yourselves. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
You feel good?
Yeah.
What was it like working with these ladies?
I feel like we've gotten some importance as ladies. I feel some empowerment here.
All right. Beautiful. Well, we will give, let me see, Judge Nalongo a chance to talk to our team here.
Echo TV, I can see the echo in you. Team Echo, thank you so much for staying strong. Where are your brothers? They ran away. Yeah, and you remained strong. Thank you so much for giving us a strong bulletin. I know the issue of climate change, especially now, it is so strong that we really have to address it, because if we don't, I think one day we may end up waking up in the morning and Kampala has gone to the islands, I think. Let me just remember your names. Letitia? Aine Mbabazi? Christabel? And then? Joy, did you have a story? Yeah? Okay. Your stories were good. They were very topical, and you tried your best. You put best foot forward, and live reporting. Where are you? Yes, you did your best. Thank you for standing out, and just one thing that we need to make good: when you're going to do a live reporting, make sure you have information on what you're going to present, because I really failed to come up with something from you. Your colleagues that you're interviewing had the information that they had, but you now telling us what this is about. You know here what happened? It happens. It happens all the time, because even for the Andrews of this world, sometimes there are butterflies when you're going on air. But just make sure you breathe in and out very deeply, and yes, you can do it. And what I didn't like is, how come you have titles to your story? Whenever you're going to do a story, you do climate change. Now journalism, Eco TV, no, we don't do that. We don't read the topics of our stories. Just go straight into the story. And I know most of you have a very good future for your stories, because your stories had content. Some editing here and there was lacking, but we understand you're still students and you're learning. For us at that age, we couldn't do it. No one held our hands, but for you, you're lucky someone is holding your hands. And don't take this for granted. Even when you don't get the opportunity to get into the fellowship, that's not the end of the world. You can just use the knowledge that you already have to get into your next profession. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nalongo. Linda, I saw you clapping the most. Do you want to say something? Linda, do you want to say something?
Oh, I always have a comment, but I enjoyed the bulletin. I felt that you had very topical stories, very, very topical stories. I don't know who played the, what is it called? Is it the bumper, and then the anchor came from nowhere?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that anchor to come in talking. We have a style that we use at NTV sometimes, where we shoot, the anchor is in the newsroom, and we hear a voice from nowhere, and then the camera is trained onto the anchor. So that's what I was imagining when you were walking like that, Letitia. The bulletin was good. Like I told you, you guys have really topical issues. Just a few, one or two comments. When you're doing live, look interested in the person who you're talking to. Maintain that eye contact with that person. Ask them one or two questions, and then I'll go back to the interview as well. I felt that I was feeling the nervousness that you were feeling. I could tell that you were nervous. But also you asked only that one question, and then your interview is done. We're done. How do you come with a phone on air?
Done.
You get, eh? So the person who is in charge of the bulletin was you? What is it called? Let me call you the producer. Producer, when you have a guest going on air, behind the scenes what we do is I'll take your bag and keep it in a safe place. I'll take your phone, or I'll tell you put your phone in silent. Okay? But I should not see your phone. I should just be able to see you. Otherwise, I'm proud of you, ladies. Thank you so, so, so much.
Well done, ladies. You can take your seats now. You can continue following our conversation on Twitter with the hashtag Media Expo UG. Right now, we are preparing for the next team, which is Team 3, which is ARC TV. Everybody put your hands together for ARC TV.
As a country, adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the Global Goals, in 2015 as a universal call to end poverty, protect the planet, and promote peace and justice by 2030. Sarah, however, the government estimates that 76% of these goals are established in our National Development Plan of 2015 to 2021 in our national context. Tonight, we focus on poverty,
peace, and justice. We do also have our live news reporter, Tracy Tendo, who is live at MCI Hub, covering the Media Expo that is focusing on sustainable development goals. Good afternoon. Welcome. This is ARC News on MCI TV.
When granted, it becomes difficult for us to follow up.
Ignorance of the law in societies worries human rights activists.
Injustices, because they don't know, I would say that's a given, but some not necessarily because they don't know. Many suffer because they are scared.
Media Challenge Expo 2021 focuses on media covering sustainable development goals.
We hear the media reporting about poverty. These dancing competitions, where they've been invited and paid to report that so-and-so has won the dancing competition and won a million.
Leaders in the local government and non-government organizations have raised concern for the need of government maximum effort in the fight against poverty. This comes after the establishment of the No Poverty by 2030 campaign by the government through various development projects like Emyoga, saying that they are destined to failure if there is no extra effort put in implementing and evaluating of these projects. Our reporter has the details.
Uganda, 41% of people live in poverty despite they achieved significant milestones over the past 3 decades, with poverty rates standing at 21.4% in 2016, down from 56.0% in 1993 according to the National Poverty Line. However, with COVID-19 outbreak in March 2020 that left most sectors in crisis and yet enhanced population growth due to early unwanted marriages, teenage pregnancies, less sensitization on family planning methods, limited public health services due to restricted movements during the lockdown, Ugandans are prone to extreme poverty. As a result, End Poverty Uganda, a non-profit organization, becomes relevant in such prevailing conditions since it craves eradicating poverty in societies through all possible means. Vincent Agaba, the country director, says the organization envisions a poverty-free society.
We have hands-on projects and activities that we help our society to get out of poverty. We have mobilization for these people. We do financial programs like circles, like, financial literacy. Why we envision a poverty-free society.
He, however, pinpoints that poverty increase in the country should not be copiously be blamed on government, but rather social customs like land dissections, thus calling for mass-boosted advocacy.
You will hear so many people blame the government. But yes, the government has a little part to blame, but it is not entirely the government. You can clearly see like how our society has been arranged. From days when before we were born, how our land system is, somehow, somewhere it contributes to our poverty. We basically want to call upon organizations, government agencies, to come and, first do the mobilization part of it, awaken the population, tell them there is a problem of poverty that we must fight together.
Hawa Ali, woman leader Chisasi Zone, Kabalagala Parish, advises women in her dominion and beyond to embrace circles and teamwork in order to eradicate poverty as their main objective, since women play a vital role towards development right from family levels. Hawa adds that when women come together in groups, it makes it easy for the government to extend any form of support to them through its mass development programs.
Twandibadde tukwatira wamu naddala ng'abakyala si mu kitundu kyange kyokka naye n'awalala wonna. Lwaki njogedde bwintu nti ebiseera ebisinga bamaama obuvunaanyizibwa obusinga buli kufa abakyala mu maka, ate ng'emirimu egisinga ffe tugikola mu bitundu byaffe. Tuba tulina okwegatta tusobole okuba nga tukolera emirimu egyawamu egisobola okutukulaakulanya ne gavumenti esobola okujja n'etuyambako.
Salongo Amos Katumba, chairperson Chisasi Zone, applauds the government for establishing the Emyoga project, citing how it has benefited citizens through their respective groups.
The government has come in to help us. Like when it started the project of Emyoga to fight against poverty, not only in our area, but also in other areas. But basically in our area, some of the members of the zone are benefiting. They have joined the association and they are getting some money from it. And they are using that money to boost on their businesses.
Despite government's involvement to eradicate poverty in Uganda by 2030 through its different development projects, namely National Agriculture Advisory Services, Commonwealth Creation,
it's now up to the government to help these very local leaders and the grassroots to make sure that poverty is properly eradicated in Uganda by 2030. Kansime Tracy Tendo, MCI TV, Kabalagala.
Human rights activists and lawyers are worried about the level of justice and peace in our country. The concern was expressed by the human rights lawyer at the Women's Pro Bono Initiative and the female chairperson of the Uganda Law Society, citing on what is being done wrong and what should be done for people to have knowledge on the law. Our reporter Daisy reports.
In the 21st century, African countries are still experiencing injustices and insecurities based on political and socio-economic wings. Uganda in particular practices and enforces rule of law with a constitution in place that was promulgated in 1995. Article 79 of the very constitution gives Parliament mandate to make laws in this country. However, these laws are not fully known by the local citizens, which creates a challenge of the ignorance of the law. Section 6 of the Penal Code Act, however, emphasizes that ignorance of the law existing cannot be used as an excuse in committing a crime. Prima Kwagala, human rights lawyer at Women Pro Bono Initiative and chairperson of the female lawyers in the Law Society, states that most injustices happening in our society occur due to the ignorance of the law by the citizens. On that the government put all the possible measures through the Ministry for Gender, Labour and Social Development, among other dignitaries, to educate the community about the rights and relevance of the law.
The government also is responsible, has a duty and an obligation to educate the communities about their rights and responsibilities. Yeah, I know that there are TV stations that teach about rights. They invite lawyers and lawyers teach about rights. They register NGOs, non-government organization, community-based organization, parish level, small drama groups. These are usually to educate people about their rights, but also responsibilities so that they are civically aware.
On the other hand, Wagala condemns less law awareness on the stereotypes and cultural traditions that generates fear, especially among the minority groups.
The culture of subservience. And you're taught since you're a child to submit. You submit to men. You submit to your big brothers. You submit to your mother. You submit to the law. So unlike men who are told, hey, you're a man, you stand when you're greeting. You don't accept when a woman says this or someone you feel is lesser than you to do this. So that culture of subservience also breeds an environment for abuse and puts women in a position where they cannot demand for rights.
For over the years, justice and peace has been compromised through domestic violence and child abuse tendencies that sometimes take lives. Merab Nasasida, a resident of Gogonya, Tunsambia, and a mother of 3, is a victim of domestic violence by her former husband.
Kandi kuyabera aranywa antera kandi ebintu bya kooti oraba orenda nkabaroya nkyo mbwenu nabirugaho kuri hariho nkabaroya barabaasa kuyambitwa batine sente nkezo tindamanya oba bariyo.
Conan Businja, the press secretary to the vice president, says that resident district commissioners are entitled to airtime in local media to teach the masses about the law.
You have members of parliament, you have elected councillors, you have elected officials. It is part of their duty to help the people understand some of the things. But most importantly, they are resident district commissioners who are entitled to airtime on radio stations and TV stations. through, because they compare every media station, to create some time, create some airtime for local leaders to be able to sensitize the wananchi.
Regardless of the growth of peace, justice and rights advocating bodies in Uganda, peace and justice is still affected by little legal knowledge in our society due to violation of the constitution, power struggles amongst its selfish leaders, and corruption. Daisy Kavura reporting. In the 21st century, Africa...
Days, the Media Challenge Initiative has hosted the Media Expo 2021 at their home, MCI Media Hub Kabalagala. Under the theme, Sustainable Development Goals, this year's Expo is intended to see how the media, together with the young journalists, can be of help in impacting the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030. Edward Abaho reports.
Uganda, like other countries in the world, is looking forward to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030. This was witnessed during the Media Expo, where different panelists shared knowledge, ideas to follow if Uganda is to achieve the target. According to Linda Asaba, the Programs Manager, United Nations Association of Uganda, the media plays an important role in what people feed their mind and brains.
I want to start with the question around mental health before I run to the maternal health. Mental health is really what we feed our brain. And the media has a very, very important role in what we feed our brain. And when you talk about the media, it is not only the journalists. I am also a self-made journalist. Given, I have Twitter on my phone, I have WhatsApp, and, I can break the news. There's also that urge of wanting to be the news breaker that has caused a lot of fake news. You see something and you want to be number one to share it with your peers. You don't know that you're actually affecting mental health of person X, Y, Z. It's someone that follows maybe Linda, and whatever Linda posts is the right thing. And Linda has...
Good health is also one of the important SDGs to achieve, and the media has a great attribute if to be achieved by the year 2030.
I would also like to appreciate the journalists who have stood strong and tall and tough in this period of the pandemic and have maintained reporting all through, irrespective of the restrictions, lockdown, restricted movements.
Media should get down the ground and pick the reality reports if we are to achieve the set goals.
And then also the few times you see these stories appearing in the media, maybe civil society organizations, Action Aid and the rest have transported journalists to cover their story. So they're basically covering the story based on what Action Aid wants, or based on, I'm just giving an Action Aid as an example, but they're giving it, covering the story based on the perspective of the NGO. What the NGO has taken them to cover, we have donated clothes to them. That is a few times you get to hear stories on poverty. But what needs to be done, we need to get down back to the basics and then report on the realities of life.
It is evident that the media plays an important role towards the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals, since it can impact and feed the information to the brains of the natives. Abaho Edward reports for ARC News, MCI TV.
Well, our reporter happens to be live at the Media Challenge Hub. And Tracy, if you could kindly tell us what is the mood down there at the Media Challenge Hub?
Well, Solomon, I'm right here at the MCI Hub in Kabalagala. The mood is tense. Pressure and nerves are everywhere in this room as the 5 different teams go head-to-head in the newsroom competition in the categories of news anchoring and live reporting right here today. And it's already ongoing. Already the teams in Uganda have already done their part. And right now, right behind me, are the teams preparing for the English bulletins.
And Tracy, if you could find out what unique aspect is there about this year as compared to the 4 years that have been there earlier.
Well, yes, Solomon, as one thing I can actually tell you for certain is that this is a new home for the MCI Challenge, and this is the first time they are doing the Expo at their premises this year, and maybe just to get a feel of what that has been for the different participants, I'll have one here with me to sort of tell us what exactly has been ongoing and what the feeling has been at this year's Expo. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine. Maybe if you don't mind, you could look into the camera for us. Please do tell us what your experience has been at this year's Media Expo.
My experience has been good. I've got to learn more about the Sustainable Development Goals. And as my outstanding SDG, that is poverty, SDG number 5, I'm going to do whatever it takes to see that I promote gender equality.
Thank you very much. Is that your favorite SDG goal?
Yes, it is.
Well, Solomon, you've had it right here with one of the participants. Maybe, I don't know if you have any more questions, but from us right here at Kabalagala, I've been Tracy Tendo reporting for ARC News at MCI TV. Thank you.
Well, Solomon, I do understand every person has a lot to play in achieving the SDGs. What have you done personally, like in promoting the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals?
Well, if I have passion for a certain goal, and that is goal number 16, that relates with peace and justice. And I believe it's something that we need to do more awareness so that people get to have that legal knowledge, as you saw in our story. But equally, every viewer out there also can give us their aspect with regards to it. And for Tracy, I would definitely want to come to the Media Hub. I see it's a lovely place, yes.
Okay, you can also give us the feedback on our social media handles, that is ARC News on our Twitter and on Instagram, ARC News. Thank you. My name is Sarah Kechumuli.
Solomon Chisache, goodbye.
Well, so just going to pass the microphone on, and they'll each tell us what university they are from. But they're from the academy, but what university they are from. Then we pass it on to the judges. Judge Katana, I hope you're ready, and Mr. Andrew Chamagero. Amos, I'll start with you. How do you feel?
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm feeling great that these people have made it the way we agreed. And as a person who was the editor, and I was at the camera at the same time, and I also reported, the experience was good. I feel like they have done
it. Sarah, how are you feeling?
I feel good.
You feel good, that's nice. Tracy, how do you feel?
I'm very proud of my team.
Wow. Solomon, Solomon said, how do you? And then finally, Daisy, yes.
Oh, thank you. I feel so good and proud.
Well, thank you so much. I'll just pass it on to the judges, Mr. Katana and Mr. Andrew Chamagero.
Thank you, team. I want to commend Tracy. Members, join me to actually commend Tracy. The entire team is good. Solomon, you're good. I've liked it. I like the way you played with calmness, and it's a tool that we always apply, especially when we are slowing down on time. Sometimes it can be a little hot, and you want to slow down on time just for composing. I've liked it. I like the confidence the team displayed. Above this time round, it is an applause from my side. However, like it is always good to make positive comments the other side, and an area of improvement. Sarah, the pronunciation of words has some other element of another language. Okay? be around people who speak English too much of your time and face it with English. Okay? The mother tongue effect is a little hard. So we can work out on that, which is not too bad. You can work on it. The other thing, I'm surprised we've had an opinion within the news bulletin. It was a little interesting, though it's a unique thing, but an opinion within a news bulletin better comes at the end than in the middle of the story. Because like when you start in the interaction, we pause and think everything is already done. Okay? But if it comes at the end of the bulletin, well, it can be a piece of us, a take-home piece for us. I want to commend you, team. There is still a very, very big room for you to accommodate you in the media.
Well done. Guys, let's clap for this team. I want to thank the men on this team. I think I should give you some money.
Kanan, where are you? Kanan, you're missing the money. Oh.
And I will tell you why I was very impressed. There was teamwork. I could feel it in every bit of what was happening. I could feel the support at every layer. Even when you're anchoring, I could tell that where he was going low, you came through heavily. When it got to Tendo, the story you did, you were on the ground. I loved the fact that you went to the ghettos, and what you're talking about, you were in the real community of what you're talking about. Maybe the challenges we had in the second story, the cutaways, the sequencing. When you give me the sequence and you're showing me the border, that border guy didn't speak, the guy with a red helmet. But we saw him more than anyone. I kept waiting for the guy to say something, that didn't happen. So the sequencing. Then two, you blurred the mother and you left the children. The law tells us to protect the children more. Yeah? So maybe next time you could, you can allow the camera to look at you, and the mother, we can have the back end, and we can have the interview. But I really want to thank you. Then you, Agaba, I want to thank you. The last time we were here with Mr. Katananda and Nalongo, you got your strength. I'm grateful this time around you came through. You came through. And I think what pushed you to do all this is that you took the feedback we gave last time and you worked upon it, and you came for gold. Lastly, to Sarah. Sarah, you still have language, mother tongue language effect. Yeah? When you're giving the opinion, which Katana was saying, when you're finalizing, you say, you're asking him, what SDG does he want to play to? You said pray. Now, in English news anchoring, every statement you say, the people don't watch news. People be on TV waiting for the mistake. Yeah? You guys do that at home? See? So, what you do, hang around, I'll tell you this again, hang around people who speak English. If you love English, do away with the agavas. Gamba no, you hold them on the other side, yeah? But you did remarkably great. Thank you, Tendo. Thank you, Tim. Guys, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ActTV. Kanan, you don't have to...
Something very small, something very small.
Okay. Come back.
Specifically to Abaho? Agaba? Abaho. Yes, thank you so much for editing. I think that was great. I liked the transcriptions. Someone is speaking Luganda. And this is an English bulletin. So we see the transcriptions. And then thank you for representing the female voice. Because some of those stories, for instance, when we talk about poverty, yes, the men could be very, very poor, but the women, they're hurt more. And those voices came out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ACTV. That was great. Kanan, I hope you won't disappear in the corridor. They've been giving out money. Okay, I hope Team 4 is ready. And next is MCI.
Next is English Team News 4, and they are none other than MCI live at 1.
2021. A very good afternoon. The news at MCI TV with me, Orupake Ndagano. The news in details.
Not
Poverty eradication. Media Challenge Expo. This year's Expo is based on the theme coverage of the Sustainable Development Goals in Uganda. Our reporter Simon Begumisa is now joining me from MCI Media Hub to bring us the detailed information on this Expo.
Eradicating poverty in all its forms remains one of the greatest challenges facing humanity.
Simon, can you hear me?
I can hear you as well.
Okay.
I'm here at MCI Hub Media at Kabaragara, and I'm here at MCI's initiative, so we are covering this year's initiative, and I want to let you know that actually this year's SDG, I want to let you know that this year, the SDGs were 17, and I want to tell you that I want to highlight you some of the SDGs that actually worked out for most of the students. And I'll start with number 1, which is no poverty in Uganda. As I was covering one of the panelists on Monday, I happened to cover Mr. Alex Yamujisha, who is from the Office of the Prime Minister, and he said that journalists, you need to get sources on how you can cover the poverty problem in Uganda. I want to let you know that actually he also said that journalists, you should go on at Office of the Prime Minister and discover sources of how poverty is affected by Ugandans. And I want to highlight on the second SDG, which is gender, which is health, good health. And I want to let you know that one of the panelists who was Mr. Emmanuel Ainebiona from the Ministry of Health, he said that journalists, you should actually stop using website proofs which is wrong. You should just visit them and maybe they will give you a correct information. And the third SDG was on number 5, which is gender equality. And I will just actually tell you that one panelist who was on gender equality was Mr. Martin Nsima from the Minister of UN, from UN Women, and he said that as journalists, you need to actually cooperate with the agencies, and maybe they will give you correct information on those SDGs. And actually, I want to tell you that this year's Expo is different from the previous ones. The first one ever, it started 5 years ago, And I want to tell you that previously the universities have been participating as a university against in another university, but this year's Expo is basically they try to mingle all the students from different universities. And I asked one of the CEO of MCI, Mr. Abbas Mpindi, he told me that the reason why they changed and they shifted to making students participate from different universities is that because they want them to, they have different skills and they want them to mingle and have expertise the experience and maybe come out with a good work in journalism. And I want to let you know that actually I'm here in MCF Arena. I want to tell you that the environment is good. People have actually practiced SPOs as SOPs as advised by the Minister of Health. And I want to let you know that most of the students are wearing their masks and they have actually sanitized. And it was a must for you to check for COVID-19 before entering into this media hub. So I want to talk to one of the attendees who was here from Monday up to today. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, how are you?
What's your name?
My name is Joseph El Shaddai.
So, Joseph, what stood out for you among the 17 SDGs? Which SDG stood out for you?
Of course, one of the SDGs that stood out for me was about life on land, looking at the aspect that we all live on land. We need to actually preserve it for the future.
What exactly do you learn from this expo that you may go outside as a journalist and practice it?
Looking at the theme of this year's expo, promoting effective media coverage on SDGs, as media practitioners, we have a very huge role to play, most especially in localizing these SDGs in languages that best suit different people that we have. And maybe also looking at the sustainable media coverage on SDGs, we'll definitely be able to achieve this.
How do you see the competition? I'm seeing it. Steve, who do you think will win this competition?
I am not certain about who will win the competition, but I understand each and every single team is pulling off their best. So we'll leave that role for the judges to actually, come up with a people to win this competition.
Maybe, Oipa, for the purposes of gender balance, let me talk to this lady next to me. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir.
What's your name?
My name is Gloria Yarankunda.
So what stood out for you in this Expo 2021?
What stood out for me was SDG number 1, which talks about poverty, because there has been increase in the poverty levels because of COVID-19, and media coverage about poverty could be one of the actions that would drive to eradicate poverty in this country.
Thank you. Back to Europe in studios.
Thank you, Simon. Poverty eradication in all its forms remains one of the challenges facing humanity. Progress has also been limited to some regions, which account for 80% of those living in extreme poverty. This agenda was set to reduce at least half of the proportion of people living in extreme poverty according to the national definitions. In Uganda, 41% of people living in poverty and almost half of the Ugandan population is under the age of 18, representing one of the youngest.
Political stability can reduce the rate of poverty by 2030.
Going into 2030 is political stability. So if we maintain the same stability, security situation, there are high chances that the poverty rates will reduce, because it means there will be no big fallback. However, for drastic changes in poverty levels, we need to build a system where we actually invest in structures of society. It's wealth injected, it can't be sustained. So we need to look structurally on some of these ways how we invest in reducing poverty.
The government came up with some strategies to address the poverty issues in Uganda. Those were the NAD projects, Yoga Fund, Youth Livelihood, etc. It still sounds music to some Ugandans.
Government going to give money for youths, for youths. I don't know, but to help them how? Or what to open for them business, or what doing what? Help from there, I don't know. I just hear they're going to give youth some money.
The target was to reduce at least half of the proportion of people living in extreme poverty, according to the national definition.
It was important to set an ambitious target.
we want to set a target that makes you want to work towards it, you know. So it will be very difficult to reach, especially because COVID has happened and it has made things much worse. But I think it's still important to set big targets and that we work towards them. We use different efforts, different ways. Some ways might work, some ways may not work, but we learn from each initiative that we implement and we learn how to do it better.
By 2030, according to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, was to eradicate poverty for all people everywhere, currently measured as people living on less than $1.25 a day.
Less than half of children are literate at the end of primary school. In secondary school, only 15% of the students are proficient in biology, 43% in English, and 47% in mathematics. The school environment also plays a part in children's motivation to stay in. Have this to say on this goal, as Rita Tumhere reports.
The future of education in Uganda is still at a standstill, coming almost 1.5 years after schools were closed in March 2020. Students are now worried about the quality of education they will receive given the impact brought about by the pandemic. Dr. Ngora, a lecturer of journalism and mass communication at St. Lawrence University, applauds the government on a job done at improving education standards in government schools before COVID-19.
I think government has done quite a lot, especially with regard to education, right? UPE is a government program, which has seen more students enrolling in education, although, of course, with the COVID-19 pandemic has really so much affected education.
Conan Wusinje, a press secretary to the vice president, points at the prospect of how the government is revising the curriculum by looking at the most important topics.
Government is already doing what is called revising the curriculum. They are cutting out. What they are cutting out is not irrelevant, no. It is relevant too, but they were looking out for the most important topics that a child should not miss in the course of learning at the primary and secondary level, and they are going to redo a course or a curriculum outline for all classes.
Caroline Ashaba from Inspire Women Uganda echoes that the government needs to come out and as well help online innovators.
The government, it's helping women, yes, and girls who are doing different businesses. But when it comes to online, I think...
Reporting for MCI TV, Rita Tumhere.
Thank you, Rita Tumhere. Fighting for gender equality is number 5 on the Sustainable Development Goals, which was partnered with the United Nations by Ugandan government in 2015. The goal remains the question how it will be implemented, since it involves private matters, for example, sex for job. The overall objective of gender equality is a society in which all men and women enjoy the same opportunities, rights and obligations in all spheres of life. Simon Begumisa has more.
Fighting for gender equality is number 5 on Sustainable Development Goals, which was partnered with the United Nations by the Uganda government in 2018.
I believe that if we insist on getting people to areas of specialization, we will there was a story I read in one of the
Today, different organs fighting for women emancipation, Method Media Change Initiative Kabaragara, forge a way how journalists can implement the SDG 5 in Uganda.
The way you can counter misinformation is ensuring that there is no delay in privacy. When misinformation is...
Ashaba Caroline, who is the CEO of Inspired Women in Uganda, says that the 2030 SDG is achievable if they implement the SDG agenda.
It is looking out for such issues and finding solutions to them. We connect them to organizations that can help out, you know, like human rights and all, to fight for them.
She however said they are facing a challenge of men in big offices requesting for sex in exchange of giving women jobs.
But I think as girls or women at some point, we need to also know our value, you know. You shouldn't belittle yourself for a job.
According to the Uganda Demographic Health Survey, in 2016, the proportion of women aged 15 to 49 who have experienced sexual harassment reduced from 60% in 2011 to 56% in 2016. Simon Begumisa, reporting for MCI TV.
Thanks for keeping it MCI TV and giving me company. For more of these stories, follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter at MCI Updates. For I and the team, good afternoon.
Nogambore nyankore? Norigam?
Nindugamba.
Norigai?
Nindugambar.
Tuke chance o tuya amahuro muri nyankore? Okay, let's invite the rest of the teammates to come here at the front. Mushkok. Wow. You guys have come all the way from Bara to be a part of this expo, to be a part of this competition. What is it like for you to have traveled all this way and be here?
It's all about passion. If you feel like you want a thing, you have to move.
You have a lot of fans here. Kakoba oye! Kakoba oye! Wamma Kampala. Wamma Kakoba. What has been what was it like, the journey coming here? When did you arrive here in Kampala?
Actually, I started from Umkat here to Bukesa, so I joined my team from Kakoba to come up with something different. And
yeah, you guys like found yourselves. Niwe no shomera ha Buganda?
Ni shomera Kakoba Institute, Rutagarama.
Wow, that is actually our CEO Mpindi Abbas's third language, so he must be really happy to see you representing. But what was the experience like for you preparing this bulletin for us?
Like, it is my first time, because at our institute, we don't do TV. It's my first time to do TV.
And what was it like working together as a team, representing? I feel like right now you're representing a region, like an entire region. So what was it like for you?
It was quite an interesting thing to represent almost Western Uganda.
Wow, okay. Niyo norgambo nyakore? Munonga. Kota kurushi. So, all right. So, are you also from Kakoba?
Yeah.
So, this is your first time to be doing TV broadcast. What was different for you from the usual?
I will first appreciate the sparkling. To manipulate the manipulated domain, that is the Media Expo Challenge. I'm happy to be part of here, that's all.
We're happy to have you here as the Media Challenge. And finally, how did it feel for you watching your team come up here, do their best and like participate after the investment, the passion, the travel that you've put in?
Well, me, I'm called Tumhira Rita from St. Lawrence University. My team, watching it coming here. Okay, it was good, but then the live reporter disappointed me somewhere. He chewed a lot of time. Okay.
Are you the producer?
No, I'm not the producer, but I was disappointed, like, from the beginning. But in the end...
Well, we know how the audience feels so far based on the reception that you've been receiving. But let's hear from our judges. I'll start with you, Linda. What did you think of our team from Kakoba?
I'd like to congratulate the team that came from Kakoba. I think you did very, very well. I don't know if, Rita, you're the team leader. You're not the team leader. Was there teamwork among you guys? Did you quarrel at some point and feel like punching each other? No? Okay. Let me leave that to me, to myself, yeah? Okay, the anchor, thank you very, very much. I think you know, as an anchor, you're the one who leads. You're the one who sets the pace. However, when we are doing leads, because you say this is your first time to do TV, when you're doing a lead, which is the intro of the story, try and make it short. Stick to the 5 W's plus H. There is a very good reason why we have our 5 W's plus H. 5 W's plus H is what happened, who was involved, when, why, and where. And then the H is the body of the story. So you cannot get the 5 W's plus H and put them in the lead. The H mostly comes, we're just trying to stick to the principles of doing a story. And then I noticed in one place that there was a story where you were using still pictures. When you're doing a story like that one and it's video, unless you have a montage, yeah, picture coming after picture, it's good for you to put some motion in those pictures, okay? Then also, I have noticed that the audience, this is to you guys, please. Let me speak to you. Because I'm speaking right now, but I can feel that your attention is at 0. I felt extremely uncomfortable when these people are doing their stories, but no one was listening. Do you know how it feels when you're up there and no one is listening to you? You understand? It's what is called respect for other people. Think of yourself and put yourself in someone's place up there and just say to yourself, if I looked over in the audience and nobody was giving me eye contact, how would I feel? But again, when I go back to that, I want us to be able, there must have been a very good reason why you couldn't capture their attention. And one of those reasons, I'm trying to be extremely kind here, was that the live became a bit too long. The live became long, then it became long, then it became long, then it became long, then we talked to somebody. Live reports are meant to be just that. I introduce you, I introduce myself, I introduce the topic, I speak to somebody, let's go. The anchor at that point, I think, was not even listening to you. The anchor had kind of like switched off. So we try to do stories at NTV. I'm always also under a lot of pressure to try and tell the anchors to do stories or to do something. I know Andrew likes, he stands up like this. I'm taking my time here. But he likes standing in the studio like this. Yeah? And he feels very fashionable. I don't know if he's always fashionable. But it captures people's attention. It captures people's attention. I'm not saying we need to be flashy on television, but let's try and see, can we capture people's attention from the beginning, even the way we do stories, okay? Then when you're interviewing somebody, please always make sure that their microphone is on. The person on the camera, you put your earphones on, and just make sure that you can hear the other. It's very painful for me to know that that would have been a very good soundbite, but the person was not listening. The microphone was not on. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you very, very much. I can talk till night time, So excuse me, please, but thanks a lot.
Wow. Wow, let's give another round of applause to our team all the way from Kakova. Yes.
These guys from Kakova.
Yes.
You who were in the audience and you didn't give them attention, I want you to mark this day. You remember these people. And I'm trying as much not to be emotional, but a dream, at times, it is so hard that no one can see what you go through. You guys got on the bus, got yourself an accommodation to stay. You did what you could with the little meager resources you had. I'm a very tough guy, but I told Linda here that this is so hard for me to even judge you. I mean, you've not seen a camera at the institute where you go to. You've not had microphones. You've not been in this environment. So don't mind about them. If they're on their phones, if they're murmuring, when you're running after a dream, no one sees what you're doing. No one will ever remember that you got yourselves on the bus to come. I really want to pledge this. I'll take time. I'll come to institute. I'll try. You talked about the passion, but I see far beyond that. These guys here, no one can ferry themselves to Mbarara if there is something, but they can go to Jinja for water rafting. The dreams are totally different. So I don't want you to give up. The anchor, I know the dream you have, and you will achieve it. The Simon, the live reporting guy, you did so good. Yes, it was long because you didn't know. You kept hanging in there because even the stories you had were less than those at the teens. Yeah? So you did great. She might say you're disappointed, but I know what you went through. To be where I am, I had to leave Kampala. I had to go out of the town. You left those areas to come and tap into the opportunity here. I give you my word. I will travel to your institute. I will do whatever it can. I have some links, just like Nalongo. I have some links in the West. I'll talk to them. I'll see how best we can position you in the industry because you have what it takes mentality. So don't mind about them. The crowd will never listen to you when you have a dream. No one sees that. I saw that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Actually, I want to promise you that next time we shall try as much as possible and we shall be best anchors and reporters.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Kakova oye! Kakova oye! Kakova oye! Wow, thank you so much. And Andrew, I have also received, this is true, official confirmation from the CEO of the Media Challenge Initiative that also... Yes, and this is also a very unique factor. You are only the second team ever to participate in the MCI competitions representing from the southwestern region. So you have also set that record. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just give that round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Kakova oye! Kakova oye! Well, the party is just getting started, ladies and gentlemen, because we also have Team 5. So, introducing to you here on the stage is Team 5, the Round Up. Let's give a round of applause for the Round Up.
My name is Hannah Arinaitwe and welcome to The Roundup. I'm here alongside
Joshua Caleb Muyenza. We have amazing stories for you. Keep locked in.
And you know, it's quite interesting how journalism and storytelling can actually impact the livelihood and the people in society. Am I right, Joshua?
Exactly. And today we explore the various ways journalism can make the world a better place.
So we have more about how journalism is making the world a better place. But for now, the headlines.
Media Challenge Initiative launches its 5th annual 5-day Expo.
Sustainable Development Goal number 4, will inclusive and equitable quality education be achieved by 2030 given the pandemic constraints?
Are journalists well equipped to aid good health and well-being in a pandemic?
The news in detail.
Hold the vision. Trust the process. Formerly known as the Global Media Enterprise, the Media Challenge Initiative held its
Sustainable Development Goal Media Compact, an initiative marking a new drive to advance awareness of the SDGs through alliances around the world. Our reporter Joshua Caleb brings you more details.
Expo was characterized. The Media Challenge Expo was characterized by a number of skill-building sessions, panel discussions, enlightening talks pertaining the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that were born in 2015 in Rio de Janeiro at a UN summit.
The Sustainable Development Goal number 4.
And I have two questions for you. The first of which is the fact that there was an SDG Media Compact launch in 2018.
And justice. Those are the key challenges affecting the whole world.
Speaking at the Media Challenge Expo in Kabalagala, the technical advisor, SDG Secretariat Albert Biarugaba, shared the government's vision as regards the Sustainable Development Goals in Uganda.
As we kick off Uganda's new SDG, we have developed a new roadmap for the next 5 years, which is aligned to the National Development Plan 3. And we are saying as we kick off the operationalization of the coordination framework with this roadmap, it is imperative that all journalists internalize and act on it, keeping their important role in mind.
This was further followed by an introductory panel between representatives from the Office of the Prime Minister, the SDG Secretariat, and key players in the media.
What do you say that looks like in practice, especially because you work in a newsroom?
15 to 20 so years in the newsroom, one of the hardest things is to simplify.
As part of the Expo, students were also tasked to create stories running with the different Sustainable Development Goals, equipping them with practical skills that would not only promote the SDGs, but also make them employable by several media houses.
Since education is the key to success, could the current situation literally mirror fidgeting with the key to open the door? The education sector is one of the most valuable in the country, and the government has invested very much money, time, and energy so as to meet the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal.
But with the COVID-19 pandemic leaving over 77 million students around the world and 15 million in Uganda in lockdown for over 20 months, almost 2 years, there is a lot of uncertainty on whether inclusive, equality, and equitable and quality education will be achieved by 2030.
Today, our reporter, Ari Naito evaluates the viability of the strategies we have to promote SDG number 4.
Conference of UNESCO officially launched the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. The Ministry of Education and Sports in 2016 started implementing strategies towards ensuring Sustainable Development Goal number 4. The ministry has since then strived to promote access to knowledge for all students all over the country. But during the spread of COVID-19 worldwide, lockdowns were imposed in the country and the education sector taking the biggest hit. Talking to Mr. Ari Naito Hannington, an educationist of over 25 years, and Madame Lillian, an administrator at MBI, specifically in media, we analyze if the goals set for 2030 in regard to Sustainable Development Goal number 4, quality and equitable education, can be fulfilled even after the COVID-19 hit.
As education is free at lower level, primary, secondary, but I will tell you, there are people who cannot even access now.
It has affected everyone worldwide, but that doesn't mean that it stops the plan from moving forward.
Media, as the fourth estate, plays a big role in supporting Sustainable Development Goal number 4.
Media is up there. They are really trying. Yes, they're always giving us information, although sometimes they overfeed us.
The media can partner with the government, Ministry of Education.
The Ministry of Education set out to implement strategies in supporting the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, quality and equitable education by 2030. Counting 9 years to the deadline, will the ministry be able to hit its goal? Hanari Naitwe, The Roundup. Caleb, are journalists well equipped to aid good health and well-being in the pandemic?
Well, I cannot answer the question directly, but we're going to find out the answer to that question. What we know is statistics, that there's 400 people that have no basic health care and no basic social protection.
More than 1.6 billion people live in fragile settings where crises combined with weak national capacity for basic health challenge global health.
By the end of 2017, 21.7 million people with HIV were receiving antiretroviral therapy. But today, 15 million are still waiting for that therapy.
Yes, and every 2 seconds, people aged between 30 to 70 years die prematurely from non-communicable diseases, cardiovascular diseases, chronic respiratory diseases, diabetes, or cancer.
It's actually the media that has neglected all the other issues. When you go out there in the field, you will find that the different services are going on.
Journalism is a calling. If you come to get money in journalism, you're in trouble.
It's like an eye-opener for people to know that when you have underlying causes, you need to take extra care.
It begins in World Health Organization. What have they done to translate these SDGs into local languages that a common person down there can be able to read?
On that note, with us in studio today, we have Abbas Mpindi, one of the founders of Media Challenge Initiative, one person that I would call an expert on innovative media. So we have a conversation on whether health is actually being followed by the journalists and the media at large. So sometimes when you say media, some people think about just the news. As someone who deals in innovative media, what do you think we can best do to promote health?
I'm not a very big expert, so let's put that on the side. But I think journalists can do a lot to contribute to health by reading and what you're simplifying to the public.
Yeah. During one of the sessions, someone mentioned that we need to evolve with our audience. I would like to ask you, how best can we evolve? For example, you started as the global media enterprise. How is MCI today supporting that very dream? Or how is it supporting journalists actually paying attention to the SDGs, especially health?
I mean, change is a fact of life, so you have to evolve. One of the ways you can do that is to survey the needs of your audiences. So if you're a media house as well, reach out, because if you're going to serve the community, you need to understand their needs, and that's how you build trust. So that's for me is the same thing we were able to do from Global Media Enterprise. We realized we are not like a for-profit outfit. We were more working to contribute to the needs of young journalists. So we moved from that because we are a not-for-profit. That's why we're a Media Challenge Initiative today.
Yes, everyone cracked up when someone said that if you came for money in journalism, you should just run away. Anyway, we interacted with some of the journalists and we had some questions. Let's have a look.
If you see the way we cover stories, we cover simple different aspects in a different way.
I want to sort of see media houses' policies and strategies change to sort of include more women.
Knowledge is limited with journalists. That's one. Two, the translation to local languages.
Fewer bylines by women. I want to see that change. I want that stereotyping to change. I want more ownership by women.
We're no longer looking at these girls as people who want to be heard. We are actually seeing them as a competition. You're recognizing the fact that a girl can beat you at your game.
In detail know what they are or how they are affected by these. So we need more sensitization, we need more
you know, who wants the opportunity to be heard a little more. It should be about equal opportunity, and that's what they've just done.
Yes, thank you very much, Abbas. We have a question from Hannah.
Yes, before you go, Mr. Abbas, I would like to ask you a question. What percent...
Give you a good example yourselves. You're here because there's this event on SDGs, but after here, I am very sure that...
that some may forget, we won't.
That we may not hear about this again. So my emphasis is again, like each and everything we do on a daily is SDGs, to be honest. From education to health to climate to good, like partnerships. So as a journalist, think about each and every story as in line with sustainable development goals, and also see yourself as someone who's contributing to those goals, so that by 2030, when the world is celebrating, you're also part of it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Abbas. So on a lighter note, we do have our live reporters, Mr. Kenneth and Jacqueline, right now at the MCI Expo. Kenneth and Jacqueline, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
What's happening there?
Well, thank you very much, our news anchor, Anne. I am down here at the MCI, where the Media Challenge Expo is actually taking place. It's the 2021 Media Challenge Expo. Apart from the years before, the Media Challenge had been taking place. It was an inter-university Media Challenge where students used to come together to compete. But this time around, they combined all the students from different universities and put them together to come up with this. Well, as you can see, the mood seems tense, but the students seem excited. They are young journalists, and I think they're excited. So I'm going to be talking to one of them. But before I even talk to one of them, the theme this time around is promoting effective media coverage of the SDGs in Uganda. So I'm going to be talking to someone who is seated right here to tell us her name first and what she has gained, the skills she has attained from this. Hello.
Hello, my name is Maria Antoinette Owembabazi from Makerere University, doing a bachelor's degree in journalism and communication. And the skills I've gained from this is, as a young journalist, I think I have always relied on statistics from Google and whatever websites. And this has really taught me to make my own research and not follow, whatever is posted on Wikipedia, on Bing, on Google, right?
Thank you very much, Maria. As you can see, sorry about that. Now, I want to get to Kenneth to also tell me what is on his side. Kenneth, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I do hear you indeed. I am here seated, like you have mentioned, I am at Tripati, Mazima Mall, the home of the Media Initiative Challenge, where I am joined by one of the colleagues. The reason that's why I'm keeping my mask on, he's not masking up. So in response to the, I think he's not following he doesn't know actually about the SOPs, the standard operating procedures that were given by the Ministry of Health and So you as a person who has been part of this challenge, the Expo that began on Monday, So how have you been able to benefit from the panel sessions that have been going on here? And how are they going to be able to help you? How are they going to be helping you in your day-to-day life?
I'm first of all better at the skills that I had previously because I was not that green. But I've also learned a lot from the panelists here, especially about the SDGs. I'm one of those journalists that didn't know a lot about SDGs, but from these sessions, I've really learned a lot.
Oh, that is really very great. To bring you back from there, I want to tell you that today is the day that the Lord our God has made, that the Media Challenge Initiative Expo competitions are taking place here. And I want to tell you that it is really hot in the hall, and we have seen some of the teams. Yes, Hannah, what I can tell you that there is a lot of heat in the room. There is a lot of, I know, intense, I don't know how to say this, but what I can tell you that it is really quite amazing, and some of the teams are here showcasing what they really have to show. Here next to me is one of the persons that have been able to benefit, or a beneficiary in the Media Challenge Expo. I want to ask him, in regards to tonight's theme, that is promoting effective media coverage of the Sustainable Development Goals, leaving alone the different years. How is this unique? Dan Ayebare, what can you tell us in regards to this tonight's theme?
You asked what's different? Yes. Of course, what's different is very clear. Universities are no longer teaming up. I mean, they didn't team up on this. I'm not saying they're no longer teaming up, but we witnessed that they're making students made up groups from different universities, strangers met and formed teams, and then came up with these news bulletins we've been watching. And for me, it is something that I got excited about because I know teamwork is a key factor in everything.
Thank you very much, Dan. I want to tell you that this has been a very rich, and it is still a rich competition where we're having a lot of judges. That is Mr. Andrew, Linda, and Mr. Katana, and now that will help the journalists, the young enthusiastic journalists, go through an intense training and mentorship. Back to you, Hannah and Caleb, at the command center.
You know, for a second there, when Kenneth talked about the tension being really tight, I thought maybe it was, reflecting right here, at the same time.
That we were shaking. Well, It's really amazing. And I have some questions for you people watching today. Do you want a sustainable future?
What do you know about the Sustainable Development Goals?
What are you doing to aid the Sustainable Development Goals?
When is 2030?
Be sure to answer those questions. How have we...
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is Team 5, the Roundup. You can stand up now.
All the members from Roundup Media should come and join their friends. Well done, well done, well done.
Hey, members of Roundup, come on, come on.
I think they're a bit scared, Kanan, of you because of your Kalabanda Media.
Caravana Media is going to come and will be changing narratives and everything. Round up.
Well, as we have the judges prepare, Kanan will ask you to pass the microphone. So they'll just tell us how they're feeling. How do you feel?
Great.
Oh, thank you so much. How do you feel?
I feel amazing, actually. A bit tense, but okay.
Oh, that's nice. How do you feel?
Some of the judges clapped. Yeah, so
I do feel excited and at the same time nervous.
It's okay to be nervous, but you're done already. You did a good job. How do you feel?
Just know even I can't tell. I'm happy.
Wow. Thank you so much, Roundup. We're going to...
I'm just so excited to be here.
Kainan, Kalabanda Media has to wait. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to the judges. Linda, I'll start with you. Do you have something?
I loved this team. I really, really, really did. And I clapped for you. Remind me your name. Joshua Caleb. I clapped for you guys. I liked your interview. I think you are in charge, the both of you. And even when Abbas, and I'm not saying this because Abbas was there, but even when Abbas told you that he could not tell you the percentages of the journalists who know about SDGs, you immediately had another question for him. That's a very good interviewing style. So you shouldn't look green, but then you also did a good job. Esther, why do I call you Esther? Jackie, I told Andrew that you remind me of a minister, a state minister. Yes.
Amen.
Yes. However, when we are anchors, let's always try to limit the use of our hands, overuse of our hands. One, it looks like you're lecturing to people, the way I'm talking to you right now, or it takes away, it distracts me, your hand distracts me. So when you're anchoring, try your best to, Andrew will tell you what to do. He's giving free lessons, okay? Yes. Then the microphone, remember, I just had to tell you to put it down. What we want to do is to do a make-believe that we are actually in the studio. So your microphone, even when you're interviewing somebody or doing a PTC, is always held at a certain level, okay? I told you about the, yes, and then the live was good. The live was good, the ones that you did. But then, imagine if it was a real life situation, you wouldn't want to tell your audience that this guest is not wearing a microphone, a mask, because now I'm going to wear my mask because you see I can get COVID and whatever it is. We always try to be very kind to our guests. Yeah, and then I want generally for everybody, today because we've come to the end and I left this towards the end, the next time I come here, if I am invited by Media Challenge Initiative, I want today to be the last day, that I see you during the live, taking your microphone, you standing, and then the guest or whoever you're interviewing is sitting. Let me put it in the words that I give Mr. Chamagero here. I say, that mode is tired. Let's look for a new mode. Maybe you can arrange for this interview beforehand. Go and find them at a corner somewhere, but let them be standing. Let's have someone standing, someone who you can do eye contact with. Because most of the time you're leaning over this person. This person is answering very well, but I want to see you making eye contact with them so that you can ask the same question. The way Hannah asked that question, she was looking directly at that guy. He refused to answer the question. She shot another question at him. So today, MCI, Chimuli, Simon, who else? Today, if they bring another interview where the person is, you, the interviewer, is standing and the other person is sitting, me, I'm giving you 0. Not so? Okay, thank you very much. I liked your bulletin.
Thank you so much. Nalongo and Mr. Katamo, do you have something to say?
Actually, everything has been said by Linda, but my other touch goes to Joshua Caleb. Joshua, you're good, but like I always prefer telling you the truth. Become more a little serious. You have the business that we want. Become more a little serious. Sometimes even when at the interview session, you seemed a little jokey, yet was serious business at the start. But later you picked the momentum and fired him right. So let's just modify a little. And the easier way it comes is by practicing as much as possible. Otherwise, you team, you're worth in my club.
Just something small. I wanted that. I loved the energy in the team. I think that was very good. And the intonation, the diction, I think you were good. Just one thing still to Joshua. I think it was caused by a lot of smiling. You already have a good face. So when you smile, you start stumbling over the words, which is not good. But I'm not saying when you're reading news you have to be very, very, very serious, but you can reduce on that. Next time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chamageru. Do you have anything? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The round up. Let's give him a better round of applause. Come on.
Kanan,
yes.
I think you need to sit near the judges. There is some money we're giving away.
Yeah, I keep bringing myself, but I haven't yet. I'll strike my board. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in one of the languages that I speak, we say, if you try once and it doesn't work, try again. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Team 1 came here, they tried their luck. It didn't go too well. However, the judges have managed to talk to them and have agreed to give them one more opportunity. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Team 1 as they go again.
To the News Hour. It's the 5th season of the Media Challenge Expo at the MCI Media Hub, Tirupati Mazima Mall in Kabalagala. This year's theme is centered to promote effective media coverage on sustainable development goals. My name is Shedrick Ayebale. And
I'm Leah Kabi. And later on the show, we will be reviewing the opinion poll on our Twitter handle at Trifan8012 1640. The question is, do you think by 2030, SDGs will have been achieved?
Look at the headlines.
Agriculture is not going to be carried out.
The impact of climate change on food production.
And for the question of the planet has got an impact on food production.
The state of mental health care in Uganda. And finally, the news in detail.
We have a live reporter joining us live from the MCI Media Hub. David Ijo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, Leah and Shedrick. Of course, journalism can make the world a better place, and that is why me and you are making the world a better place as we are supposed to do it. Now, here at Tirupati Mazima Mall, 4th floor at the MCI Media Hub, an expo has been taking place from Monday up to today, whereby they have been, the Media Challenge has been discussing about SDGs, and of course the theme of this has been promoting effective media coverage on the sustainable development goals in Uganda. Now, one of the SDGs that stood out for me was SDG number 8, that is decent and economic growth, because in that SDG lies an employment of which the youth are the youth in Uganda today are really, okay, a big percentage of the youth are suffering from unemployment. And I wanted to speak to a young lady here who is going to be telling me on how the problem of unemployment in Uganda can be solved. Christianas, thank you for joining us. Could you please give us an insight on how unemployment can be solved among the youth today?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, David. Unemployment, I think in Uganda today we can switch from instead of a more theoretical education system, we can switch to a more practical education system compared to being more theoretical, because their people earn what they call hand skills. In that, even though, God forbid, a situation like COVID-19 repeats itself, people are able to use those hand skills and they're able to survive. Another thing I think that can be done, that can be strengthened, is stronger implementation policies when it comes to these institutions that are used for school, that teach people extra skills. The government needs to be strong at implementing those education policies and education facilities so that people can always have a skill. At least they are in this life and they know that at least I can go out.
Christiana, hold it there. The aim of these SDGs is to see that the goals are met by the year 2030. Do you think this is possible? Do you think this can happen?
Issue, but the news in details.
Agape Child Development Center is a church-run, child-focused organization committed to freeing children from poverty. David Ijo gives us a report.
Services they provide for children in need. Child Development Center, an organization located in Tinda, is one among the many that have prioritized in eradicating child poverty in Uganda. Through voluntary services they provide for children in need. Nantumbwe Winnie, the Finance and Accounts Officer at Agape Child Development Center, tells News Hour that their organization plays a role in holistic development for both children and the youth.
The Child Development Center is doing a holistic development for both children and youth. Spiritually, the children are being impacted through the church, where they have a children's program. Children are participating in their own activities, those who can sing, those who can dance in the church, those who can participate in devotions. And we have a sports play area where children can be impacted physically, and we do health screenings for these children so that they can stay healthy. We take children to school to be educated so that their cognitive aspect is up.
Nantumbwe clarified that the organization has produced many students, some of whom graduated and are living independent. She said that the alumni are intact with the organization and extend support in efforts to eradicate child poverty.
The Child Development Center is doing a holistic development for both children and youth. Spiritually, the children are being impacted through the church, where they have a children's program. Children are participating in their own activities, those who can sing, those who can dance in the church, those who can participate in devotions. And we have a sports play area where children can be impacted physically, and we do health screenings for these children so that they can stay healthy. We take children to school to be educated so that their cognitive aspect is uplifted. Last year, Agape Child Development Center, together with the church, we started a WhatsApp group where we have over 300 children and youth who have graduated off the program. And the reason as to why we started this WhatsApp group is to see how are people progressing with life out there, how can they network with their fellows who are above them, and to network in kind of business and jobs.
Joseph Elunya, the director, Center for Investigative Journalism, urged the press to adopt a storytelling model of solutions journalism through tracking the progress of efforts to combat poverty, both by government and NGOs.
Really, our stories that we tell should be stories that after people watching them, they should be able to call to action. There are very many good examples that I've ever seen. One such example was a project between the Guardian newspaper of London, and then there used to be a project called Panels here in Uganda, and the media. The funders, they funded a model village in a place called Katine in Soroti. And in that, the media kept on tracking the progress. So we need to track.
As Uganda.
In health news, statistics from the Ministry of Health indicate that mental health affects more than 25% of the people in Uganda. Policymakers have recommended integration of mental health care into primary health care as one of the ways to improve mental health well-being in Uganda. Miriam Niwamgisha tells us more in her report.
With this year's Media Challenge Expo focusing on sustainable development goals, experts have advised on the need to foster mental health well-being as one of the ways of promoting good health among the public. 3/4 of the people with mental health challenges receive no treatment according to the World Health Organization Mental Health Action Plan 2013-2020. However, there are measures that have been put in place to address the problem. While speaking at the 2021 Media Challenge Expo at MCI Hub, Kabalagala, Ethan Nanyonga, a software developer at Rocket Health, affirms that the company has embarked on educating the populace on benefits of good health.
We've had these campaigns that were going on. We had the Men Health Month, and then we have also one for the women. We have packages that will help you get mental health treatment whenever you need it.
Linda Asaba, a senior programs manager, United Nations Association of Uganda, guided journalists on how to avoid the impact of negative reports on people's mental health.
Is by being solution journalists, and then 2 is by ensuring they tell the good side of whatever they are reporting about. Because the more you report negative stories, the more you affect the mental health of people, the more they will lose hope. So I think if we focus on positively impacting the mental health of people, it will be an amazing thing for journalism.
Speaking to Dr. Kenneth Kalani, a psychosocial officer, Ministry of Health, he says that the ministry is advocating for changes in the system to effectively enhance on the access of mental health care.
Advocating for is integrating mental health care into the primary health care system, so that once a patient comes in and they are mentally ill, the nurse or the clinical officer there can identify this and provide basic care, and they do not have to necessarily refer the patient very fast for specialized care. That is
Affecting more than 25% of the people at some time during their lives, the World Health Organization emphasizes that mental health is a prerequisite for physical health and is strongly linked to other SDGs, thus relevant across the whole range of development. Miriam Womsha, the News Hour.
Climate change poses a slew of challenges on food production. Various adaptations and mitigation measures have been cited to reduce adverse impacts. Our reporter, Jotham Alinaitwe, has a report on this.
Environmentalists have warned against the
continued abuse of the environment. This has posed a threat to the food production in the country due to climate change. It has come after Uganda was ranked among the 12 most vulnerable countries to the impact of climate change, according to COP26. Mercy Melod Kayodi, the Vice President for Youth Coalition SDGs Uganda, explains how climate change has impacted food production in Uganda.
To the average Ugandan, you would describe climate change as too much drought or too much water. So that is the average way a basic Ugandan would understand the question of climate change. Clearly, food production highly depends on the climate. Uganda is predominantly agricultural. Agriculture is not going to be carried out in space. It has to be carried out on land. And for the land to be good enough to support agriculture, the question of the planet has got an impact on food production.
The Executive Director of Open Space Center Forum Uganda, Ashraf Kakere, allows the fact that agriculture season kept changing due to rotating climate pattern.
We all know that we used to have 2 seasons in a year for farming, which is no longer happening. So unless we take action, we might be in trouble in the near future. I think government can engage the young people in food production because these young people are young at the very right time.
Alex Talemwa, co-founder of The Last Drop, suggests that government should refrain from paperwork, assumptions, and work hand in hand with the youth in order to improve food production.
The change in weather patterns have affected how much food we get from our gardens, which means that our productivity as a country has gone down, and famine and hunger has gone up. At least in a given year, about 40,000 people are going hungry. The government has done some role, but has not done a good role. So the government has, on paper, done a good job. In practice, there's nothing I can tell you on ground. As a farmer, I'm engaged in agriculture myself.
Jotham Ali Naitwe reports for the News Hour. Environmentally.
At the start of the conversation, we asked you to check out our Twitter handle and tell us if you think, and tell us if you think the SDGs will have been achieved by 2030. Bill Dunn says, I feel it's a good project, but the timelines are so close. Zawi Grace says, I think by 2030, some aims and objectives will be achieved, just needs good leadership, teamwork, and community support. There is
Yes, Shedrick, I'm here at the audience.
Yes, we would like you to kindly interview one of the guests there to get a feedback live from the audience.
Okay, it's quite tricky here, but let me just interview a gentleman here and get feedback from him on whether these SDGs can be met by 2030. This is Chiviri Richard over here. Mr. Chiviri, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Yes. What is your opinion, and do you think that by 2030 we can have the Sustainable Development Goals met?
Yes, I think by 2030 we can have the SDGs met, if at all we as journalists do our part and make sure that all Ugandans are informed about these SDGs so that they can also participate in achieving them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chiviri Richard. Well, Leah and Shedrick, from the audience, that is what you hear. Maybe before I get back to you, let me just interview one lady to balance the gender here. Let me interview Tracy. Tracy, do you mind standing up, please? By 2030, do you think that the Sustainable Development Goals, as planned, can be met?
It is. It's quite possible.
Why do you think it's quite possible?
Consolidated efforts. We already are somewhere. We don't have to, necessarily look back, but look forward and, make mechanisms and systems, put systems in place and make sure, we move forward.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Now, Leah and Shedrick, there is nothing impossible, but whatever is possible comes with effort and hard work. Personally, I think if we put in effort and hard work, we can surely meet these sustainable development goals. I don't know what you guys in studio think, but for me, here, that's my opinion. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ijo David, for that positive feedback. He is reporting live from the MCI Media Hub. I would like to return the question to my co-anchor, Mr. Shadrach. Do you think by 2030, the SDGs will have been achieved?
Well, to be honest, the Uganda I know, it's a bit tricky.
What Uganda do you know?
We always visualize big, but we put into action less.
You and who?
We as Ugandans. What about you, my co-host?
We shall continue this discussion after the bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.
I remain Shedi Kayebale.
And I'm Kabileya. We shall be back tomorrow, same time, same place.
Auditions and competitions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for Team 1. And at the same time, Team Last. So you guys have been, no, last like in number. Where are your teammates? I thought we knew the drill.
Group 1, please come forward. Kanan, we have a surprise guest judge.
A surprise?
A surprise guest judge.
I'm looking forward to that surprise.
Can you guess who?
It's a surprise. It's a surprise. But let's find out from Team 1 and Team 6 how they feel. What did it feel like for you doing it again?
Well, the very first time we did it, basing on Judge Andrew Chamagero's submission, I could feel the pain he had that, okay, maybe these guys can do it, but maybe they have played around. And, you know, he took a step to follow us back to the newsroom and lectured us and said, this is bullshit. You can't play around with bullshit. So you must come back here again. I told my colleagues, it's not easy to make a judge leave the table, go back in and, you know, find time to lecture you. So when we go back there, let's do what we can do best. But yeah.
All right. You can pass the microphone. Huh? You don't want to respond. Okay, let's find out. Watching your team the second time, how do you think they did this time round?
I'm pretty sure we've performed better than we did at first, looking at the advice that we got from Mr. Chamagero.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's so find out. You first pass the microphone on. Pass the... Yes. So, what do you think, according to you? Just one thing that you think you did better this time around as a group.
The only thing I can say that I did better is the arrangement of, because I'm the behind guy, like the editor, so the arrangement of the sequence. Yeah, that's what I can say. Okay. Yeah, and I would like to thank Sir Andrew here, yeah, for giving us a second chance and for all the lessons he gave us back there. It was very nice. It was a warm welcome into the field. Yeah.
Round of applause. And finally, but very, very quickly, come. I want you to give your remarks from here. Yeah, as far away from Andrew as possible. So you're the producer. Just from that position there, how do you think your team did this time round?
Wow, as a team leader, really, at first, you know, being number one, the tension, the pressure, my team members expected to be among number 2 or 3. But I do believe by the advice given us by Andrew Chamagero, we went back, they had to cut the pressure, they had to collect the energy, and they had to come back, do their best. Thank you so much, Mr. Andrew, for the opportunity.
All right, wonderful. You can come up here and join your team. And I'm going to move on to the judges panel. Do you want me to start from the other side or this end?
Okay, we'll go first.
Yeah.
Nalongo, maybe we'll come last, or Linda. First of all, guys, let's give them a round of applause. What you may not have noticed in the first sequence, he had a coat on. He was wearing a jacket. He got busy, the jacket is not on anymore. That's work. There was leadership. The reporter in the first sequence in the field, when you were interviewing her, she was ready. She knew what was coming. There was teamwork. And how we got to know about the teamwork, she called the reporter lastly when he was not expecting her to call. Correct? And when she called, she panicked, but he realized and he stepped in again and called David again. And David had to find someone on the ground to interview. That only comes with teamwork. Then when there was a blackout, you stayed calm, you kept going. Now that is the news. Round of applause for these guys. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Okay, what Andrew did to you the other time was brutal. You know how to spell brutal? It's B-R-U-T-A-L in red, bold, capital letters. I'll not lie to you, I was sitting next to him, but mentally I was doing this. Jesus, Lord, please help us. But that's the real world. I'm telling you truthfully. I just felt a little bit Bambi because this is a competition for you guys. But what I want to tell you is that that is where we are sometimes. That's where we are in the real world sometimes. I noticed you guys had a color combination, which I really liked. Let me go to the good points. You interview very well. You answer very well. You, Shadrach, sorry, I'm pointing at you, have a good smile. So don't be too serious. And a good voice. And a good voice. Then Leah, you take charge. I like that about you, that you take charge. At the end, you actually took charge. I think David was going on and on and on, and you took charge. So we need to learn how to take charge. The team leader, I know it was so hard on you. But me, I don't know why, when you were picking the numbers, I felt you. I felt you, and I said to myself, I know he's going to go back, and he's going to do a good job. Andrew felt otherwise, okay? Now, let me go to the points I want you to do. Yeah, how do you arrange your rundown? The rundown is very important. Sometimes when we have stories in the newsroom that have to do with education, like for example, yesterday we had a story about the Ministry of Education saying to the teachers that we are not going to give you the 100 million that you want, the private schools. Then we had another story on the Ministry of Education being grilled about something. Then we had another story in relation to that about the opening of schools. So how you arrange your rundown. What matters most? Andrew gave a very good point when I was talking to him. He said there are times when if Museveni has spoken and he has made a point, are you going to make him number last? You're not. Okay, so how you arrange your rundown as a team leader is very important. I noticed in the cutaway, you guys don't have many cutaways. There's something that, let me say it shows a weakness in your news when you don't have cutaways, you know. It's called NAT, we call it NAT or cutaways. When you have the reporter is narrating, then you have another talking head somewhere. It's very, very disturbing. So always have those cutaways, okay? And then, yes, that's it, I think. But I think you did better. If I had graded you first, maybe you wouldn't have come back.
Thank you, Linda. Mr. Katamu?
I have just realized
sometimes there is when an Andrew must come. When I had just entered newsroom, I was telling them at lunch my funny side. But my editor then was called Fred.
Yeah, tell them.
And Fred
Tell them what you did.
I used to be very lazy. I would go to the station required us to produce 3 stories every day. But this time round, I was very lazy. So I chose to record. It was KFM. So I recorded KFM and went and edited out the bite for KFM and even took the story. But went with the anchor's voice. So this time round, I was spotted out of being lazy. The following day, my editor Fred, actually that day did not tell me anything. The following day, morning brief, he told me, you man, tell them what you did. And remember, nobody knew my secret. It was a lazy secret. So I was bullied in the entire newsroom, okay? But from that day, I just said, I must be myself and move forward. And when I started being myself, I rose from a mere reporter, became a sub-editor. Then he let me become a news anchor. From becoming a news anchor, I was elevated to head of operations because I chose to become myself. But there was some other voice that was hard on me to leave the cheeky joke. So Andrew, thank you so much. This team has come back with fire. I want to wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Team News Hour? Yes, it is indeed News Hour. Sometimes that's what we do back in the newsroom. You bring me a back story. Sometimes that's what. Sometimes when you are here, that thinking's coming. Because you are looking at journalists of tomorrow. Sometimes sympathize with us. That's what we, because I know you have the potential, but you're sitting on it. For instance, this team, when you came back, you showed that you put in effort.
Yeah.
That's what you should have been, what you should have done from the beginning. Because at least I've interacted with some of you on previous occasions, and you performed better. So I expected better. Thank you for the effort. Thank you for the work.
And as a group, you should appreciate the MC for bringing you a microphone.
I'm very audible. I don't really need a microphone at a point. Trust me. As a group, we want to thank the judges for giving us an opportunity to come back and compete. And Mr. Andrew Chamagero, we are very thankful for this opportunity. We are very thankful for the word of advice you gave unto us. We are going to keep it and make sure we use it profitably. And we are going to become better journalists, and we are going to do the best to impress you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Leah.
I think we can do much better than that.